you need to be training to failure. And this is something which, for once, has actually been backed up. I know everyone's been telling you this entire time. 2 reps in reserve,
Similar hypertrophy.
No benefit of going with 0 RIR versus 3 RIR.
But they're wrong. How often are you actually going to fail? Like, go right now into the comments and tell me how often you've actually pushed a failure in the past, 2 weeks. We finally have the evidence. A meta-study. I know I said I'd never really go into studies here. I wanted things to have a level of trust in your own research. And then I argue people in the comments or whatever. But for once, we're talking about a study.
Exploring the dose-response relationship between estimated resistance training proximity to failure, strength gain, and muscle hypertrophy. A series of meta-regressions.
And it is shaping the way for training to failure training, which is something that I've been consistently doing. Now it's clear on here that this is this is how it's working, right? And this is 2 reps in reserve. Everyone's been saying, oh, that's when you stop. Going past that, it gets the same thing. It's the same results, and it's just more fatigue. What this is showing is when you get past those 2 reps, it's more like that. Like, it isn't exponential. Of course, it's not going to go very high up there, but it is an exponential amount of growth. Like, this is insane. For me, leg extensions are just the most brutal, difficult, hard thing to push to failure. What do you find is the hardest thing for you? And I mean, if you think about this, it makes sense. Like, look at Mike Mensa, look at Dorian Yates. They have been preaching this stuff for years, to failure training. It's their whole thing. And even in this space, you have the quad father, Tom Platz, the best legs ever. Just like Tom Platz said, the second you become a failure
is to win.
Sure, he wasn't doing this low volume kind of style that Dorian Yates and Mensa were doing, but Tom Platz was taking every set to extreme failure. And the results show. I never really saw training of his other body parts, but I don't think they came anywhere close to how he trained his legs. That's the thing. I've been messing myself with these really, really high intensity, just to complete failure on every single set for almost the entire year. And it's something where my training has never felt more on point. I'm getting my newbie gains back again. The results are so powerful. They're surpassing what I've got in my previous 2 years. The training style is so incredible, and it's not just about getting to where there's form breakdown. It's about pushing past that too and getting lengthened partials in, or going even further past the failure within the set. Really shouldn't be underestimated. The results I've got from it are actually freaky good. It's crazy. But now this can be kind of hard to implement, because if you think about it now, your days are probably already exhausted. If you're really serious, you got to start training to failure. I think the first thing you got to do is you got to cut everything down. You got to really go back to the basics and do 4 sets per muscle group. And I say this and you're probably like, what? But here's the thing. When you're taking these sets to failure, when you're getting those, this exponential growth here, because you're not stopping shy in this curve, when you're going to that place, you are getting so much from it. And you will need to do less, because it will be so tiring, and it will be wow, it will be so much. You can't keep going. And if you do, it's kind of stupid. That's just way too much fatigue, and you're probably, eating into your other muscle groups within your day. So here's what you do. Less volume. Those partials. Perfect form. Every rep needs to look identical, and sure, there'll be form breakdown where you start going past it. But everything that's being counted when you're actually grinding until you cannot complete a concentric anymore, that's what it is. Picture perfect form. Controlling the eccentric, the lowering portion, or the negative. You need to be going slow on that. 4 seconds max. 4 seconds max. It's going to build more strength. It's going to need more hypertrophy. It's something you can't just rely on that momentum. As fast of a concentric as possible, but you don't mess with the eccentric. You don't speed that up. That's slow. And to kind of top it all off, start doing lower reps, anything from 5 to 10. This is something where the second I started switching to it, I realized reps don't matter. So long as they're within, 5 to 30, they're going to get the same results. But the benefit of being closer to that 5 to 10 range is your cardio isn't getting tired as much, and your resilience isn't getting tired as much. So you are actually able to push to failure and then past it because you're not limited by, oh, that was 16 reps. Do I really want to go for that extra one? Like, I'm so exhausted by now. That's where the gains are. And you got to start doing these things or you're going to get left behind. People very, very soon are going to start catching on. And when they do, you don't want to be left behind. So you genuinely need to start doing this today. Now you're going to see here a great video on how to bulk on a budget. And this is something you're going to need if you're going to start pushing to failure. You want to be maximizing that muscle growth. So give that a watch.